What's up,
Hello.
Ian?
How are you?
I'm pretty good. My name's Eli, and I'm sitting here with Ian Price, the creator of Make Happiness. Tell us about yourself.
Well, as you said, my name is Ian. Um, I don't really know what I'm doing. I don't really know why I'm here, but we're talking. It's happening. So, what about you? You're the one who came to my house with all this equipment and let me borrow this and set everything up for me.
Yeah, so basically, Ian just hit me up the other day and was like, hey, man, I'm interested in doing a podcast. I took a poll on my Instagram and was like, I guess people want to hear from me. So here we are. I brought some mics over, and we're recording.
Yeah, it's
So,
crazy. It happens so quick, too,
Yeah.
which is wild. I didn't expect things to move so fast, but I'm excited. I'm not prepared, and I guess let's just dive straight head on into this.
Okay. First of all, who's Ian? Who is Ian, and why do we care who you are?
Well, I don't think you should. I'm just a regular dude. I don't have anything really exceptional about me. I just have a very big passion for following or pursuing happiness and pursuing positivity as a lifestyle. Make happiness and the whole mantra of what this is more than just some clothes and a blog. I want this thing to become a movement of positive lifestyle and growing happiness in a sense of a culture and showing the world that it's okay to follow your dreams. It's okay to be happy, and it's okay to look at the bright side, because we live in such a negative world where we grow up saying, oh, it's okay to have dreams, but you should go get a 9 to 5 because it's more stable.
Mm-hmm. It's what's expected, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what you should do and how you should live your life. And
Whereas I want to try and break the mold and be like, no, you should do what you love and you can make a living off of it, and
Mhm.
you should follow that drive. A couple more things I want to touch on are the fact that I don't believe that you should be happy all the time. I don't think that you should be positive all the time, because realistically, that's not healthy.
yeah, it's not realistic.
No, life is all about balance. You got to find the medium between the two. You got to have good days, you're going to have bad days, but even those bad days are going to help you grow, and they're going to help you learn more about you, so you can look at those bad days in a positive way even though they're bad,
Mhm.
but they do still exist. Let's give you a little background about how I started, or why I devoted my life to positivity. This is going to go back to 6th grade, maybe 7th grade, probably.
Okay.
I think like 7th grade, maybe. I was like 14. So my brother introduced me to the law of attraction, and this law of attraction is kind of what stemmed my whole lifestyle of positive thinking and happiness. The law of attraction is basically stating that your thoughts become things. You can manifest your own life, and you can think things into existence to a certain extent. But over the years, I've definitely learned that there's a lot more to it than just thinking about what you want.
Mhm.
You have to actually put in the work, and you have to put the effort for it, and you have to take steps to achieve those goals.
Yeah, it's not just like make your vision board and in 5 years you'll have all those things. You got to
Mhm.
do something to make it happen.
Right, exactly. But the one thing I did notice was the more I started thinking about positive things, and the more I was looking at the glass half full, how as cliched it is, it actually made a big difference in my life. And I would start to see more positive things happen in my life rather than the negative world that I used to live in, because I used to be fairly depressed, and I used to live in a world where I thought everyone is against me, but I realized it was just myself telling me, it was my
Mhm.
inner voice telling me that everyone's against me, when really no one cares.
So, I mean, not everyone's thinking like when you're out in public or if you're in school or something like that. Not everyone is staring at you, judging you, and thinking how this person is so different. They probably have, I want to say, like 99.9999% of the time, they're going to be thinking about whatever else is going on in their life.
Right.
They could probably care less about
They're
what-
not,
Yeah.
yeah, they're not
They're
out
not
to get
focused
you.
on you. Yeah.
And that's the whole part of it. I kind of figured that out, and then I just started focusing on myself and really focusing on, okay, well, let's try and help other people. Let's try and show other people that you can do this and you can live a happy life and you can enjoy yourself. You don't have to be so aware of what other people are thinking of you, and you can just be yourself and you can enjoy and you can live your life how you want to live it, rather than living your life thinking about, oh, how many likes am I going to get on this photo, or are people going to like this if I go to this event, or are people going to like me if I do this or that?
Yeah, kind of feeding the ego by posting on social media to make yourself sort of feel more important, when really that has nothing to do with your own kind of value to society. It's all about what you do, not what it looks like you're doing.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's more what you think of yourself too, because a lot of people need that social media and stuff for self-esteem, but it's like it all starts with yourself. If you can find the self-esteem and you can actually really figure out who you are and you really fall in love with yourself, then everything else doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what other people think of you, even your friends, your family, because you know that you're doing what you want to do and you are enjoying yourself, and that's about it. I don't know.
And maybe your family won't be like super understanding of what you're doing, or maybe not support it, but time is always a thing that makes things better. They will understand and soon discover, this is who this person is, and that's acceptable.
Well, that's the other thing. People are always changing, so it's not like you're going to be that person.
It's not like you're on one track, you're headed this way. There's always forks.
Yeah. Well, and that's one thing too with when I started Make Happiness, my parents still to this day think it's kind of just a little like, oh, that's cool, you're doing a little like brand or whatever. They don't think it's going to go anywhere, but I know for a fact that I'm going to be doing this till the day I die, whether I make any money off of it or I don't. But I want to just grow this whole thing and make it more than a couple blogs on a website and some photos on Instagram. I want to actually go around the world, and I want to eventually do events for this, and I want to do public speaking, and I want to go to seminars, and I want to actually make an influence on the world and show people that you should invest in what you want to do, whether that be, music or sports or acting or any of that kind of thing. Whatever your real passion is, when you have, let's say you're done with a really long day of work or whatever, and then you're thinking about what's the one thing that you'd want to do, the one thing that would make you happy, make a lifestyle out of that, surround your life with that.
Right. It's not just come home from work and now you can relax, but then, tomorrow you got to wake up and do it again. And you got to create a lifestyle where, you're into what you're doing and not just waiting for that Friday afternoon when you get
you're
home
living for the weekend rather than living for the day or the present.
Because I think a lot of people need to hear about the positive things in life, because there's so much negativity in media, and while it's necessary to know those things, it becomes so centered in our society about what all these other people are doing that are so terrible in the world, which that can't be good for you to hear that all the time.
When focusing on it too, it's like it's okay to acknowledge it, but it's not good to just sit on it.
Right. Just like, oh, all this terrible stuff is happening, and what can I do? I can't do anything. I'm just one of the masses just listening to it. And in reality, there's always something you can do, no matter how big or small.
Right.
All right. So going back, you mentioned the law of attraction, and we talked about like visualization and like how you can make that your reality. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I wanted to touch on the fact that it's more than just thinking of something and then it happening, like you were saying earlier, but you have to actively put yourself in this situation in your head. So if you want to, let's say you want a new car, well, go test drive that car, go feel what it feels like to turn the key, turn the engine, and feel the steering wheel, and look at all the lights and use the turn signal and sit in the seat kind of thing. And then you have to actively put yourself in that situation all the time, even when you're not test driving that car. So you have to think about it, you have to feel those feelings and actually put yourself in that situation. So then I don't know how it works, but I think your brain just clicks, and it's something that it I don't know, puts yourself in certain situations where you can get closer to those steps to achieving that goal, because you're constantly thinking about what you want to do. So your brain is like, okay, then how can I make this happen?
Mm-hmm. And it's not like, I can't imagine it's like a fixed process where one thing is universally correct for how this works.
No,
It's,
definitely not.
right.
Yeah, that's the other thing. There's so many different versions of the law of attraction and different methods of it, but I think the main principle is the visualization and action. Those are the two key ingredients. If you're not visualizing what you want, it's never going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not taking action on it, it's never going to happen.
Right. You got to get uncomfortable to do what you want, become comfortable. Well, and honestly, it's not even just about being comfortable. A lot of the things in life that you find out that you like to do might be uncomfortable at first, but then, you find out that you love doing it, and this is something that you want to incorporate into your lifestyle.
Right.
So you got to just kind of like make a leap and discover what's out there.
That's another thing too. Like this, for example, is super uncomfortable. I've never done this before.
I've never done this either, so this is kind of weird. So bear with us.
Yeah. These first couple are probably going to be a little bit weird because we're still trying to figure everything out. So go easy on us. I also want to keep these a little bit shorter just to make it easier for you guys and listening, because I know some of this is probably a little bit boring. But going back to visualization and taking action on goals of whatnot, I also do think it's very important that you write your goals down. So let's say, like, if you wanted that new car, write down what car is it, what model, what year, what color, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Just keep it in your mind, but also on something tangible. So, your daily life can sometimes hinder your thoughts about that. You go back and you see it and be like, that's what I'm working towards. That's my goal. It's good to have those.
You remember why you're doing it in the first place, like why you're working so hard. Well, it's to get this end result of what I want. Like right now, I'm working full time at a warehouse, as well as going to school part time, as well as doing Make Happiness part time. So I'm working 3 jobs essentially, which is pretty insane.
Yeah, wow. It can be hard to keep track of all that stuff, definitely.
Yeah. But that's the other thing too. As long as you keep your priorities in set and you're keeping your time well managed, I think anything's possible. Like on a typical weekday for me, I get up at like 6, sometimes 6:30, even as early as 5 maybe. Depends on how many things I need to get done, because the day is only so long, and I'm at school for maybe 5 hours, and then I'm at work for 8 hours. And then I have homework on top of that I need to do, and I get home. And then I also have a girlfriend, so I need to spend time with her. And it's just, it's crazy.
Life gets busy. And it definitely helps to write down, I think, step by step. It's a way to calm yourself and be like, all right, this I need to do first. I need to get that done, this done. But take it one step at a time, and it can seem a whole lot less scary.
Yeah.
Because so much at once, it's just like water falling down on you.
Exactly. Talking about it now, it makes me like think how hectic my life is. But when it goes day by day, it doesn't really feel that crazy.
Yep.
Because I'm not looking at it as a whole. I'm just looking at it as little things throughout the day I need to do, rather than this big crazy mess.
So you talked about working in a warehouse. What kind of warehouse is it?
So right now I'm working at this place called Quality Bicycle Products. It's one of the biggest distributors in the North America for bicycle products. So we do bike parts, complete bikes, like road bikes, mountain bikes, little kid bikes, that kind of thing, all across the board. We also sell a lot of outdoor gear, like camping gear and winter stuff, like jackets and one thing I do want to touch on is, so QBP as a whole has been one of my dream jobs that I've wanted as I was ever, probably since like 12 or 11 years old, because I've been very passionate about bicycling my whole life. And I used to do a fair amount of mountain bike racing. So we would do, I think, like 13 or 14 races throughout the summer. It was like every other weekend. And then at the end of the summer, there'd be a big ceremony at QBP for the all the awards of the season. There's a big dinner, and they release, or like who got first in your age group or whatever across the whole season. And my dad would always talk to me about how QBP is such a great company to work for, and it's a really good place to get your foot in the door for the bike industry. And then it's crazy looking back, like almost 9 years ago that I'm now working at the place that I dreamed of being at.
That's all part of it. That's kind of the visualization thing. You
Yeah.
put yourself in that world and magic things can happen and you're there.
It's crazy. Well, and the other thing too, I actually applied for it a couple years ago to work here, but they never got back to me. I never got the job, but I kept the business card they gave me, and I just put the business card up in my room so I could see it every day.
Mm-hmm.
And then I applied again 2 summers or last summer, and then I got it that year, and I've been there ever since, and it's been awesome. One more thing I want to talk about quick with biking for me and cycling. Cycling is a really big outlet for me when it comes to the chaos that life can bring. Whenever there's a really big stressor in my life, or there's a really hard situation, or a really difficult decision I need to make, I'll go for a bike ride. Just go pedal around, put my headphones in, listen to music, and just pedal somewhere, either downtown or around the lakes in Minneapolis, or even just around my block or in the neighborhoods. It's just a really good way for me to clear my head and reorganize my thoughts, and then I can actually come to a more sophisticated solution rather than just making an irrational decision and just making something. I have time to think about it, process it, figure out what's the best decision for me to make and what's going to help me the most. So I think biking has been a really big influence in my life, and also biking has taught me a lot. I've learned a fair amount about not only how to work on bikes and about it keeps me really fit and active, which is always good, but it also taught me more about the culture as a world, because I bike to work a fair amount. So whenever I'm biking to work, I notice how many people are in their cars and they're not paying attention to life. They're sitting on their phone, or they're eating, or they're doing their makeup, and I'm just watching them because I'm on my bike, so I'm observing everything around me.
Yep.
And they're just on autopilot. It's crazy to watch in the morning sometimes when I'm biking to school too.
Well, sometimes in the morning we can all go on a little autopilot because, you know, it can be hard to wake up that early and function.
Yeah, that's fair. That's also true. That's one thing I like about biking to work in the morning or school, because it helps me wake up and I'm more ready for the day rather than sitting in a tin can driving to school.
Yeah. Let's talk about random acts of kindness. So how do you feel about that? Like, you mentioned like how you bike to work all the time. You bike to school. I mean, do you see a lot of these random acts of kindness, like just being out there in the world, or do you more have to search for that?
It's an interesting question, because what do you consider random act of kindness?
Just
because
I can imagine like just someone going out of their way to help someone out, or
so like would you consider holding the door open an
Sure.
act of kindness?
It could be something as simple as that. Yeah.
But also for someone who lives in Minnesota, that could just be second nature. You know what I mean? So it's all subjective.
Yep.
But I think that there definitely should be some. I think that if you don't have to go out of your way, like pay for someone's food at a gas station or pay for someone's gas, like that kind of thing. That's, I mean, it's really cool if you want to do that, or if you want to buy a homeless person a meal, like that's awesome. But by no means do you need to go to that extent. I think it's good just to even simply smile at a stranger who looks like they're having a bad day, you know, or just when you're at the gas station or you're at some restaurant and you're talking to your waiter, just have a conversation with them. Hey, how's your day going? Like,
just throw a curveball into what you're doing and just be like, I wonder how this could affect the others around me, because maybe, you know, they're having a tough time. Maybe work is being stressful right now, so I give them something different, and that can be cool.
Definitely. Well, it's also showing that, like, if you're talking to a gas station clerk or whatever, it shows that you're not just buying something, leaving. You're a person, and you're acknowledging that they're a person too.
You're engaging with them, and they feel as they're treated like a human, which they are, and they shouldn't just be ignored and just.
Well, I think that gets overlooked sometimes.
Yep. Just be like, all right, man, thanks, see ya.
Yeah, it's like, have a good one.
Yeah, because, I mean, we say it, but how often do we actually kind of mean that?
Yeah.
Which, I don't know.
It's definitely, it's a weird line, because I know I've definitely gotten in that routine where it's just like, all right, take it easy. Yep, you too. All right. but there wasn't no real conversation. We're just
Mhm.
thinking about other things. We're distracted by all these outside.
We just have other things that are going on that we're thinking about. We're not actively thinking about other people really necessarily all the time.
But it's different because sometimes when you put yourself out of that situation, then you have those little conversations that actually mean more and are really valuable with each other. It's really cool because their face kind of lights up and you can tell that you made their day a little bit better. They're like, wow, you actually care.
Yeah, they're coming out of robot mode. And
yeah.
It's like, whoa, there's another human here.
Right. It's a cool thing. You should try it. Have like a little conversation with the next, I don't know, gas station clerk. It doesn't have to be at a gas station, but you know what I mean?
Yeah,
over the counter kind of person.
Yeah, just some person that you're potentially like getting goods or services from, just like because they see so many people throughout the day, just throw them a curveball and see what happens. I mean, we could set you guys goals or something like that, and I mean,
but they don't. You don't have to listen.
Yeah,
this is just us talking too. Yep. We're not.
Do it.
We have no influence. That's crazy.
Yeah. Tell us more about your personal self. How old are you?
I am 21 years of age. No, I'm 20 years of age. I'm turning 21 this year.
Nice.
I was born in Edina, Minnesota, and then I grew up in Bloomington, and now I currently live in Richfield, Minnesota.
Cool area.
I moved out of my parents' house actually super early. As soon as I turned 18, I kind of moved out, which is really crazy to me. But I've been at this house for 2 years now, and I love it. It's so nice not living at home anymore. So right now I'm going to school for business, obviously, because of the Make Happiness stuff. But I go to a community college simply because it's actually really cheap, and it works with my schedule because I work full time. So it just works, and I get to still pay rent and pay all the bills as well as go to school. And education is a topic we could talk about for hours, or at least I could.
Yeah, really.
But I don't think it's as important as people make it seem to be. I definitely find value in it, but I think that there's a lot you can learn from experience and from actually doing rather than just memorizing words from a textbook.
Yeah, taking a test and being like, all right, what does this mean? Well, when did it happen? It's sort of regurgitation of information, which isn't always helpful for learning. And like you said, it's all about getting that experience, and a lot of times you don't find that in school. You can find that in tons of other places. Yeah,
I do think school is a good, it helps a lot as far as managing your time and being obedient. And
absolutely.
But it also is at least for the business, it helps with a lot of the legal stuff. Like it goes over a lot of rules and a lot of things of do's and don'ts when you're running your own business, which is super helpful. And I would have never known if I wasn't going to school for it.
I know very little about running a small business or anything like that, and education definitely helps with like structure of what you're doing and how to do it.
Right. But I think ultimately it's not as big of an influence as what people make it out to be. Like there's a lot of really successful people who are college dropouts
because they have this idea that they think can go huge, and it does. You just got to take some chances.
So yeah, I'm going to school. I'm working a bunch. Also, right now it's snowing, and it's in the middle of April, which is pretty crazy.
What's the day? April 15th. It's the middle of April, and it is snowing. There's probably at least a foot of snow outside.
Yeah. But here's one thing I should talk about too. Why does everyone complain about it? I love snow. I think it's awesome.
I think it's just because we're not expecting it. It's just like, come on, man. Didn't we get past this already?
And the way that I look at it, I'm just like, it's weather, Yeah, it snows. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
And
it's a game changer for the roads, though.
Yeah. Well, it makes it more fun.
Does it?
I like driving in the snow. I don't know. But I'm really into snowboarding too, which is cool. I wanted to yesterday. Me and my brother were talking about this. He was going to go tow me behind his car, and we were going to go around the block.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
But it didn't end up happening because they plowed the roads too quick.
Yeah, you got to go really early in the morning. I actually posted a thing on my own Snapchat. There's a plow going by at 5 a.m.
Oh.
I had my window open and was like, dude, come on. I get it. Trying to sleep here.
Damn.
But, I guess it's good for other people.
Yeah, but well, that's the other thing. It's really the weather right now is like messing with all the geese who are coming back and all the vegetation and like the environment
Hmm.
because all everything is supposed to be growing right now, but it's way too cold and there's too
Yep.
much snow, so it's going to be really interesting to see how that changes.
Hopefully it hinders some of those mosquitoes.
Yeah.
It gets rough during the summer.
Oh, no doubt. That's one thing I'm happy about the snow for. We
Yeah.
don't have mosquitoes yet. But it also too, it's kind of a bummer because now the golf season and those kind of sports are all delayed. You know, there's no courses open because we have a foot of snow on the ground
Right.
still.
Yep. So, do you have any other hobbies, like any sports or anything like that besides biking?
Yeah. Well, so I do biking, snowboarding, and then longboarding is also a big one that I enjoy in the summer. But honestly, just kind of any outdoor activity, anything that's, a lot. I guess walking around, or I like to explore too, like hiking and that kind of thing. I also do disc golf, which is super fun. It's basically like golf but with a frisbee. It's really cool. If you've never played it, I recommend you try it. I'm also fairly into BMX biking, which is pretty cool. It's like skateboarding, except you're on a bike, so you do a bunch of different tricks and whatnot. I don't know. As far as hobbies go, I like listening to music a lot, but I mean, who doesn't? Music is cool.
Right.
I'm really
relate.
into writing, obviously, because I have the blog. For who don't know, I have a blog that I post once a week, but I also do a lot of writing outside of that, where I have a journal that I write daily stuff in, and I also have a typewriter that I like to use a fair amount, where I'll type on different subjects and random things.
Hmm. It's kind of a different way to get ideas flowing. Like
Yeah.
if you're on a different medium, sometimes people find writing with like a pencil helps them out, or
Mhm.
like retaining ideas.
Right.
Or if you're on a computer, you can type pretty quickly a lot of the time and get
Mhm.
what you're thinking out quick. But I mean,
I think I like the more old school of actually writing like a pen to paper. I think there's
Mhm.
more authenticity to it, and it's
Mhm.
more, I don't know, it's more meaningful rather than just typing some keys onto a screen. Because I
Yep.
mean, it's all digital. It's never going to be there forever.
It's not unique.
Yeah.
At least it doesn't seem that way.
Mm-hmm.
So we can talk about the versatility of where Make Happiness is going. You have a blog right now, and
Yeah.
you update that
Yeah, weekly.
weekly on which day?
Wednesdays.
Wednesdays.
Yep.
Okay.
Right now I'm just kind of doing the blog, and I have a couple products on the website, but I don't really know where I'm going with it right now. I'm working on a bunch of new product actually for the summer, so I'm gonna do like a relaunch of the brand, which is gonna be really cool. But as of right now, I just want to keep doing what I'm doing, keep growing, keep making new content. That's also why we're doing this podcast, because a couple friends thought it would be cool to try out, and I was like, hey, why not?
Mhm.
I know someone who's into the music business, and he's got all the equipment for it, so hey, let's do it.
That may or may not be me.
No, that's Eli.
Yeah.
He's rad.
Shout out to me.
Yeah, thank you so much for
Of
doing
course,
this. Other things going on with Make Happiness. I kind of want to work on I was thinking about picking up the YouTube side of things and maybe doing some videos. But first, I want to see how the podcasts go, because in all honesty, I'd rather talk than do videos, because I'm not really as comfortable in front of a camera, or I don't more or less know how to make good content. I do have a couple videos on my YouTube that were from last year that I did, but I didn't really like them, and they weren't very comfortable. They didn't really feel authentic. I felt like I was trying too hard.
Mhm.
Whereas doing this podcast, it feels way more conversational, way more relaxed, way more me. But as far as where it's going, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing and ride the wave, I guess.
Yeah. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
It's just another way to kind of see what Make Happiness is doing. It's like
Mhm.
not some people don't like looking at words on a page, so that now you can listen to our sweet, sweet voices.
Yeah, well, and that's the other cool thing too. Like, you can listen to it in your car, you could listen to it while you're at work, you could listen to it essentially wherever you have headphones, or even sitting at home
Yeah.
out of your laptop if you're
Blast
cleaning
it
or
out
something.
your windows.
Yeah,
Let the world hear what we have to say.
that's right. Just trying to get my voice out there and make sure I'm heard, because I got something to say.
Absolutely. All right, Ian. Well, I think this about wraps up our first podcast.
Yeah, man.
Have any closing thoughts?
Yeah, I don't know. This is crazy. I'm really, really excited about this. I think this is a lot of fun. I want to thank everyone who's listening right now, because obviously you can kind of tell we have no idea what we're doing, and I appreciate you guys because you're the very first ones. So thank you. Stay tuned. There'll be more of these. And obviously, the more that we do, the better we're going to get, because the more experience, the better they'll become. And I think the more comfortable and the more organized, because this first one, we literally are writing questions while we're doing the podcast.
We're just throwing it together.
Yeah, this is a very last minute thing, so it wasn't that organized. But I mean, maybe that's better. Do you like having this be super all over the place?
Yeah, like a good old fashioned ramble, or do you like, organized stuff with set questions?
Oh yeah, totally. If you want to ask me questions, or you're curious, or there's different topics you want me to touch on, please shoot me an email or shoot me a text. Contact me over social media. So my website is themakehappiness.com. I'm sure it'll be in this post somewhere, or you'll be able to find my social media stuff in the post of the podcast. But send me any questions or any topics you want me to talk about. I'll be more than happy to touch on those. So I think this is going a little bit further than I also wanted to keep it short.
We'll scrunch it down.
Yeah. Have a fantastic day. I hope you enjoyed this. I appreciate your view, your listen,
your viewership.
Yeah. And if you've made it this far,
thank you.
You're one of the very few. Yeah. Take it easy.
Absolutely. See you guys next time.